3, but it's R, and I don't think I could talk my wife into letting me see that with him. And the way I talked him out of it was I was like, well, you haven't seen the first 2, so you probably wouldn't understand it. But
right.
She's not going to listen to this. So I said, maybe next time your mom's out of town, we'll watch the first 2.
Nice. I like that. Those are always fun moments, right? When, I'm starting to experience that with Jack, my son, where it's just like, you kind of have this like, I don't know if I want to, how I'd say this was like a male bonding.
She's listening. Alana's probably listening. So,
oh, I can promise you she's not tonight.
Okay.
One of those nights. But yeah, no, it's like this male bonding point in which like your son starts to get to the age where you can do fun things with him. And I like it. I'm digging on it.
We watched last year. Kayla and my daughter Danny were gone, and we watched, maybe it was 2 years ago, we watched The Matrix.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, this movie will be fine. Then I bought like the whole package on Apple. And so then I put on part 2, and I don't remember any of part 2.
Neither do I.
And Maddox falls asleep, and then I fall asleep. And then I open my eyes, and there's just like tits everywhere. I'm like, I don't remember this, and I'm glad he's asleep. And I'm just gonna try to not let him want to see the rest of this.
Yeah, there's a line in which you're like, okay, we're buds, we're hanging out, but whoa, back it up a second. We can't go that far yet.
I can be okay with him seeing someone's head get shot off, but I don't want him seeing naked ladies right now, especially at like when he was like 12.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a real good point.
He's pulled the trigger on lots of video games for blowing heads off. But.
Yeah. Oh, there you go. He has quite the video game setup too. Jack's kind of getting there as well. But Cornell, I am sad to say I had a pizza fail this weekend. And I went against my own rule. And I don't know what happened. Don't know what I was thinking, but so we did, yesterday was a really busy day, right? And so I already knew we were going to do pizzas. So I had some Trader Joe pizza dough, kind of like proofing, on the counter. We went to, a really neat, art show. In fact, Sarah, the other co-host, art show, which was super cool. We'll probably talk about that on that podcast and let you guys hear all about that. But coming home, we're like, okay, we're gonna do pizza nights. Just had to get pepperoni. And I like the little cupping pepperonis. Those are my favorite. So get home. I make the kids their pizzas. One kid's is garlic oil base with cheese, and the other kid is just sauce. So I'm like, knock those out real quick. So knock those out. And then I do like a double pepperoni, and I was going to finish it with like, with the hot honey and a bunch of Parmesan, like pretty simple, pretty good, just good pizza. Right.
Yeah.
I get the pizza in there. I'm making another 16-inch, and I look in there about a minute later. I look in there, and there's a big bubble starting to form in the middle. I know, and I preach, don't pop that bubble. Don't pop that bubble. I pop the bubble, and next thing you know, there was a hole in the middle of the pizza about that big. Oh God, how am I going to do this? And every time I'm going in, it's just like smushing and more pepperonis getting on. And I'm like, I was full lipping out. I was grumpy. I made it work. I got it out. I cut it in half, and I put half in at a time and like let it finish off. But oh boy, I was so like disappointed in myself.
And the only real bad fail I've had was I think it was before I got the spinner, and I couldn't get it to slide off the peel because I didn't have enough flour underneath it.
Yeah.
And I was like, it was one of those like glorious pizzas where you're just layering on the toppings. And you're like, this is going to be so good. And then it just like, it turns into a pizza burrito in the oven. And I don't even think we ate it. I think it was that bad because it was really tall in one area and all zigzaggy squished. And then like the higher area that gets more heat. So that just caught on fire. And then the bottom was just all dough. So
yeah, I think you got to have a fail or two in the oven to kind of figure it out and get the feel for it. And I'm still trying to really understand the hot points in this oven. And I'm sure you went through the same thing with yours, but like, it's a little different. And hey, it was a fail. We still ate pepperoni pizza. It was still good. I put the hot honey on there, and it was fantastic though.
Nice.
Liked it a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Other than that, man, I didn't do much cooking this weekend. It was, we had kids sports on Saturday and then the art show, and it was just go. I don't know about yours. Yeah.
I don't remember. Oh, yes. Cool. So yesterday it was a lot of driving for a Saturday. So normally I'll go down to the gym around 7:30. I leave and get there at like 7:50. And then we have the beginner class and then hang out there and lift a little bit because it's normally the lighter day till about 11 or 12, then head home.
Okay.
Well, we had a team meeting. So I went down there at 7:30, done at 9. And the team meeting was at 12. I'm like, I'm not going to just hang out here. And I went heavy the day before. So I was like, I don't even really want to lift. So I went home. I picked up some acai bowls on the way home and got those for the family. And then 2 hours later, drove back down and lifted for a little bit. I'm kind of going to some bad habits again, where I think that I've gone a little too long in the fight or flight, like just make lifts, part of the mindset program, like kind of pushing the program when I not necessarily should. So Saturday, I just really stuck to much lighter lifts. Like I think I did 70 kilos. I did 110 and that was it. Yeah. Those were the only two numbers. I didn't even touch 50, which was not normal.
Yeah.
But I did those probably 12 to 18 lifts, and I just focused on foot movement, and they were moving really well. And if I wasn't talking to Coach Josh, I probably would have bumped up to like 130 would have been the next jump.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I didn't need it, but it just still was feeling good. So then I went to the meeting, came home after that, and then at 7 p.m. went down to Korean barbecue that was right next to the gym. So I went down there 3 times.
Nice. That's a big day at the gym, man. I am going to I'll save my comments about the meeting I didn't know about for later. We'll talk about it afterwards. But that's a lot of time at the gym, and sounds like some smart lifting. That's what it sounds like to me.
It was really good. So I actually really enjoyed it. I felt like, some days where you feel like you're in the right position, like whether it's no matter where the bar is at, right off the floor, at the knee, at the hip. And then that bottom position just felt, I know that I don't have the best mobility, just the way that my body's built. Like, it's not like my butt is an inch off the floor.
Right.
But when I get into this certain position where I feel very even and my feet are a little bit wider in the catch, and I have to have the loose hips for that, like it feels like I'm ready to sit down. But then I watched the video and I'm like, it was less than power.
So. Nice. Yeah, I had a fun, interesting smart session on Friday where I worked up to somewhere in the 90% on both of them, both lifts. And I had I knew that I could have taken it more. I knew I could have taken the snatch probably anywhere between 3 and 5 more kilos. I would hit every snatch moving up to it, every one of them. And I moved 103 or 102 like it was nothing. No, nice. It was 102. And then same with clean and jerk. Like clean and jerk was like, when you hit a clean and it's almost like you're moving up faster than the bar touches you. Like I know that didn't happen, but that's kind of what it feels like to me. That happened. And then I just probably had the best jerk of my life. And then, so I was like, but you know what? That was like, it was a good total for a Friday. I was super happy with it, and I just stopped, and it was really cool. I got squats in. I did like a triple at 160, and I just really enjoyed the fact of like I had control over my lifting, and my lifting wasn't controlling me.
Cool.
It's interesting. Interesting thought. Yeah.
I like that. It makes me think of something else, but I'll let you talk first, and then maybe we'll go down to this other topic.
Well, I think I just said it as well as I'm going to say it, which is there's not many times in the years of my lifting, 5 or 6 years of my lifting, where I have felt fully in control, except for some reason when I'm warming up on a platform for a competition, like I feel fully controlled. And I know I don't have the control on the platform on the stage, but I still feel somewhat more in control. When I'm training, I don't feel in control. And so it was kind of a win in that sense. And so, yeah, I don't think I have much of anything else. I don't think I could put that any differently.
Cool.
Yeah.
No, I like that. I guess we could talk about what I was thinking about, and you don't have a clue what I'm about to talk about.
Okay, let's go.
So we'll see how this all goes. But
okay.
So being in control.
Yes.
I listened to, I don't know the guy's name, but I follow him on Instagram. He's like a business guy. He's super smart. He's got a beard. He always wears a tank top. I don't know. But he's not like he might own a gym, but he's not like a gym guy. And he's not a weightlifter, and he's not any of that kind of stuff. But
okay.
He did a post where he had said that he was talking to somebody who just won a world championship. Okay. And then he said to the guy, "Hey, I think you should retire." And he said, the guy was like, "No, I'm not going to retire. I've got a couple more years left in me." Right. And he says, "Look, you're the best in the world. There's no one better than you right now.
Yeah.
You're approaching the end of what you're going to be capable of. So by you getting back in the ring with this person, what you're doing is you're lowering your level to try to accomplish something you've already accomplished. And people will generally hold on to that for as long as possible. And then they get hurt. And then their records start going down and all of those types of things." And the guy wasn't like, he didn't take it very well, but then he just explained it so well that it was like the unicorn will never be caught. But right now you just got to pet it, basically. Right. Like you got to touch what everyone dreams of touching. And like it really made sense, because I feel like it's never going to be good enough. You make a PR and you're like, all right, when's the next one? You win a meet. It's like, when's the next one? You're never going to be done until you take control and say, "I'm done."
Exactly. And that right there, what you just said is, it's a moment in the lifter's life that they can say that, because that's the control they have.
Yeah.
And whether you're a world champion, state champion, meet champion, or whatever, if you've hit your goals and if you've accomplished what you've set out to accomplish, he's correct, man. He's right on par with, why keep going? Like, you're just going to hurt yourself. You're going to see your body go down. Like, that doesn't mean you got to stop lifting, but like, why are you still competing? Why are you still out there pushing it? Why are you still having, these mental up and downs with what's going on? It's a really good thing to be putting out there. And I think people should hear it.
Yeah. And this is something I've been kind of wrestling with for a couple of years. And It wasn't till probably about a year ago where I was like, I'm content. I'm happy with what I've done.
Yep.
And if I don't become happy and content with what I've done, I will always keep chasing for more. And I'll never be able to like close that chapter.
Correct.
And, like, I'm not saying I'm never going to compete again,
Yeah.
but I'm also not saying that I need to be one of these people who has multiple world championships and multiple national championships and like, and all that kind of stuff. It's like, I did what I wanted to do.
Yep.
And if you think back to like, I know we're Masters lifters, so I'm just going to say Masters stuff, but really nobody knows who won Masters stuff. But like, who won Masters Nationals 2018? Nobody knows. Actually,
knows.
But
yeah,
because I was actually I remember 19. I don't remember 18.
Okay, there you
go. The second the competition is over, so many coaches, they just immediately go, all right, we're less than a year away from next year's nationals.
Yep.
We're less than a year away from worlds next year. And it's like, it doesn't matter what you did. You're just still not content.
Yeah.
And that's just something that I've been definitely putting to words and like not accepting, like I'm done, like I'm not gonna try, but also being able to not care and not have that chip on my shoulder that like I really want this so bad and I can't sleep with that, or like I can't sleep without thinking about it. And I've seen so many people like that where they're just like, oh, I'm about to age up, like I'm pretty glad because I'm getting pretty beat up and I can set some new records. And I'm like, what? Yeah. Who has those records right now? Nobody knows, and nobody really cares.
Nope.
And once you get it, nobody really knows, and nobody really cares. Like I've set multiple records. Nobody knows. Nobody cares.
Exactly. I have records on my wall. Nobody has any idea what those records are.
Yeah.
And it's, okay. So let me back up a little bit. It's really good to hear you talk about this because I know you well enough to know that like, and there's been some alluding to it, but I know that you've struggled with it a little bit, and it's not an easy thing. You've been doing this. I don't think, what would you say? Like 11 years on the last show. You've been doing it 11 years. You've put your heart, soul, blood, sweat, tears, everything into this. Not only that, but you've given a bunch. You've given a lot of you to your friends, to fellow lifters, to people at meets that just randomly need a coach. And you're like, yeah, I'll coach you. So I don't think there's ever a world where you could walk away from competing and not hold your head high and be so goddamn proud of what you've done. Like, and we've talked about the medals, right? When we die, they're going in the garbage.
Yeah.
Unless my kids want them, and then nobody's going to know what they are. But at the same point, if anybody's watching this, look at that wall behind him. I mean, that thing is stacked. And it takes a lot of, let me say this. It takes a lot of courage to know when to make an adjustment and make a move. It is something that you've worked so hard for. There's no easy way. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing right now, but I'm saying that like, there's no easy way to do it. And so, but the one thing you do know is that when it does happen, when it comes, when it's like, and if you are there, then you're there. But like, just know that you can hold your head high and be proud for what you did. And also, you've helped a lot of people out there, and I'm sure that that's going to continue, but you never know, man.
Yeah. And my mindset right now is I'm like, I'm not saying I'm never going to compete. It's kind of like me with drinking. I'm not saying I'm never going to drink again.
Right.
I haven't had alcohol in a long time. I'm not saying I'm never going to compete again.
Right.
But if I do, I'm not gonna take it as like gotta just go all in and go for it. Sacrifice the family, sacrifice this. Like, I don't have that much time left with my kids. Like,
right.
15 and 16, 15 and a half and 16.
Yep.
I think. No, I don't know, whatever. Freshman and junior.
There you go. That's the best way to remember. Yeah.
And like, realistically, I was talking with my wife about it, and my my wife got married 4.5 years from where my daughter is right now.
Okay.
That's not very long.
No, not at all.
So why would I want to put in a 6 month or 9 month? Because that's realistically how long it takes to win Worlds.
Yeah.
Like if I wanted to go to Worlds, it's going to be a 6 to 9 months of, I might not be gone that much, but mentally I'm checked out because it takes, like, you have to do your job for work. But then after that, it goes into training mode. And you have to put everything into training, and then family comes third. Because your responsibility is your job to provide for your family. Then everything goes around your training schedule, and then your family gets what's left. So,
and that's a hard thing for a lot of people to admit, but you know, it's really it is true. You know, partially why I have a garage gym that I always complain about, but it's because it still allows me to focus as much as I can, but kind of be at the house. Not to say that that's what you're talking about, because I think what you're more talking about is it's that mindset of, you know, get home from work or get off of work, go train and put everything in your power into that. And then what do you got left? You know?
Yeah. Like I would literally drive separately to like functions or not, like family parties or going out or over to dinner at my in-laws or whatever, so that I could drive home to make sure I got enough sleep. Like that stuff's not worth it.
No,
like
absolutely not.
I would say that is worth it for the big push. But then once, it's not worth it multiple times. It's not worth it to miss multiple like birthday parties. It's not worth it to miss friends' weddings. Like our old coach used to just rip into people for going to people's weddings, and he was like he was such a freaking dick. I'm being real blunt with him about him right now. But it was funny because then he shows up to a wedding that he's in. Like he gets invited to be in a wedding, and then all of a sudden he's there. And then there was another wedding that half the team showed up to the wedding and he wouldn't show up.
Interesting.
And it was just like, this was very important because that team member was someone that we all really like cared for, and then he wouldn't show up. And I think that the only reason possible, I don't know for sure, but the only reason this guy was in the wedding is to make sure he would be there.
Yeah, I think you're right about that.
And whatever, I'm not dropping names. He almost backed out 2 days before.
Yeah, I remember
like
that.
He tried to get out of it. So, but it's like, those are the relationships that I still have with those friends that I went to those weddings with. And like one of the guys in Colorado that I was at his wedding with the rest of the team, like I don't talk to him very often, but that wedding bonded me with a handful of the other people on that team that I'm still friends with today. So, and
once again, we come bring it back to this idea that like everything you put in weightlifting and on the platform in training and all that I think of it like a farmer, right? You put all this work in to grow, all the other vegetables. You put in this work to, feed the animals and do everything. And then when it comes all to fruition and you're eating steak, eating this beautiful produce and all that's your like, you're getting the fruit of all the work you put in. And it's the same thing here, because what you're talking about is like, weightlifting brought you to these people, and by you keeping pushing forward, keep pushing, keep going to meets, keep, in contact with people. Now you're got this platter of people that you call friends and not like gym partners. Because I think there's a big difference there.
That was like a big shocker when I left that team. Is I thought I was friends with most of these people, and then I realized that all I was someone who was paying for their friendship. Because I was paying to be on that team. And granted, there are a handful of people that I still talk to, but the majority of the ones that I thought I was close with, they don't even talk to me anymore. And
that was a super unfortunate part about leaving that team. Is the immaturity of some of the people that were on there that couldn't stay friends with the people that left the team, and then made it all about like some rivalry and some like thing when everybody was, people were just doing what was right in their life. Like there was no reason to make it to what it was. And, hey, I do my best to stay away from drama. And when drama starts entering in, I back the F out. So I'm good about, I like to think I'm good about that. And so it was just, it was sad. You're right. It was really sad. But the people that did stick around, we're still friends with.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are some people on that team that, hey, we're still friends with.
Yeah.
I won't drop any names to get you in trouble, but, I really commend you for, making, not even making a decision, but even opening up the door to what's next. And if there was one quote that I absolutely love that you have said, and you said it on this podcast, which was, I asked you, I said, well, what are you going to do when lifting is over? And this is so like, they should put this on your tombstone, but they won't. But you said a very, very influential quote, which was, I want to be in the corner of someone who's going to do it better than I did. That's awesome. That just shows your character. That shows how you approach the platform. That shows how you lifted. That shows how you approach people in general. And man, you just can't ask for better. Got to be honest.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
That quote's going to live with you forever if I have anything to say with it. So
nice.
Yeah. But anybody who doesn't, I mean, maybe not know Cornell very well, go Google search his lifting career or just who he is. Like, there's a lot, man. There's a lot. I remember before we ever became before we knew each other online, but we hadn't met yet. And I think I might've told the story, but I'll tell it again. I was watching YouTube. I was coming up to my very first meet, and I was like, I just wanted to watch every weightlifting meet I possibly could. And somehow I got on a meet that was like a 2018 Masters, I think. 17 Masters Nationals. And you come out, dude, and it's like Cornell George. And I'm like, that's not Cornell.
Who's that little skinny guy?
The what? And I remember when I saw you, I was like, bro, I saw this and I see you now, two different people. And you're like, yeah, no, that was me. Okay. But that was cool, man. I mean, you've been doing it for a long time.
It's funny because that meet I weighed in weighing exactly what I weigh right now.
That's crazy.
Like
you look taller there too.
It's because I was real skinny, but it was a different kind of weight. Yeah. I weighed in at 105.1, and yesterday morning I was 105.2.
Oh wow! You were 105 at that meet?
I was 105.1.
Wow, dude.
Or no, sorry. No, that was 2018.
Okay.
At AO3. That one I weighed in at like 102 point something. That's right. Because I remember the 2018 in Vegas, that was the first meet where the shift had happened in body weight. And I was just glad that I was like, I could have weighed in at 105.
I remember the shift.
Or like that I actually weighed 105.
Yeah. So. Yeah, totally. Well, either way, I think you're making a bold move, and I really, really respect it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like some of the stuff that has kind of I've been thinking about a lot. And we did talk about this, is I have some friends who are trying really hard right now to qualify for some meets, like to qualify for actual, like not at a senior level, or not at a master level, but at a senior level, like AO finals, potentially nationals, and some of that kind of stuff. And so some of the stuff that I was talking with them just over the weekend, and I've been trying to get into their head, is if you want to qualify, you have to be in the mindset that your second attempt numbers will get you to that qualifying total.
Yeah.
Because I've done, I think if you don't count the online fake meets that I did a handful of, I've done like 39, I think 39 sanctioned meets.
Okay.
I've gone 6 for 6 in one. So if I'm out there going like, and I remember being that way, I'm like, I just need to hit these numbers. Okay. If I need a 280 total, this is what I need. I need a 260, and then 2 years later, I need a 280 because it bumped up. Right. And I need 282. I need 261, and then I need 282. And I did so many meets where I got 280, but I never hit. I would go like 2 for 6 or 3 for 6, and I'd have 280. And it was just one of those things where I needed to change my mindset of like, hey, if I need to hit this 280, I need to open my snatch at like 130 or 125, 145. And then I'll go to 130, and then I'll go to 150. So that way, if I end up making the 130, and then maybe that's a PR. And then I'm like, oh, let me go for like 133. Like I'll make a smaller jump then. And then if I make that, I can then open with my qualifier in the clean and jerk.
I like
that.
But
you can't bank on going 6 for 6 because it doesn't happen. Most of the time that it happens, it's either that one-off fluke time, or you're sandbagging it because you were hurt, or your coach doesn't believe in you, so they dropped your numbers last minute.
Oh, God. Yeah,
that stuff happens. I remember watching a meet, and I was in the back room. I'm not saying who was coaching, but they're like, "You're looking great. You're looking on fire. You're looking great." And then he's like, "Hey, we're gonna open you 10 kilos less." It's like, oh, I thought he was looking great. Or I thought you said he was looking great. I thought you said he was moving like a ninja. I thought you said he was on fire and he was ready to go to battle. And now you're going to drop him 10 kilos for the entry?
I've had that happen to me before. I'm wondering if maybe the same coach.
What kind of a mental, like, excuse my language, what mind fuck does that do?
Yeah.
If you are thinking you're doing so good, and then your coach comes over and says, we're going to drop you 10 kilos.
Like, yeah, I know. It's happened to me twice. So it is a mind. It completely throws any momentum you had out the window. You're like, wait, why? What did I do wrong?
Like if my coach said, hey, we're going to drop you down 10 kilos, my first reaction would be, why?
Yeah.
And if your answer is not everyone else bombed out or pulled out, or they didn't make any of their lifts, that would be the only acceptable reason. You don't need this number anymore.
Yeah.
That would be the reason that I would say, okay, I'll give you one, but then I'm going to make that 10, 12 kilo jump, and I'm going to take what I want. I'll get on the board light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's an interesting topic right there on its own. Because there's so much mental gymnastics that's going on in the back room as it is. Like, why throw that at the wrench right before you walk up to the platform? Like, oh shit. Okay, I guess I'm gonna make this. The way I've always felt that it was a solid thing to approach your numbers. First is get on the board. Second is qualify. Third is just go as fucking hard as you want, as long as you made the first two. I am a consistent, and I am ashamed to say this, I am a consistent 4 for 6. The last meet I did, I went 3 for 6, and that was the most misses I've had in a competition. And well, I take that back. I guess AO1 2020, I pulled a hammy on my clean and jerk, so I didn't actually finish clean and jerk.
Okay.
So I don't know if we count that or not, but whatever.
They
were misses. But anyways, I'm a good 2 misses, and it's usually on my third attempt when I'm making like 10 kilo jumps because I'm really full of myself. I remember the one that a Joe Beck meet not too long ago that Alana was at. I hit 104 and I looked at her and she's like, what do you want next? I go, 110. I've hit it once in training ever. So, and I got it over my head and it fell out front, but whatever. I still went after it. But it's like, it's those times. And I think I said this in my post from Friday's lifting sessions. Weightlifting is hard, but weightlifting is also fun. And at the end of the day, weightlifting is what you make it. So you want to have fun, go out there, have fun, stop worrying about it. You want it to be hard, then make it hard. We are humans. We make our situations. We make choices to do the things that we do. And if we want to act like we're fucking gladiators, then let's do it. But if you want to go out there and you want to have a fun time and you want to do it the way that you want to do it, then do it. Like nobody has the right to judge you. And I think this on food as well, but nobody has the right to judge you for the decisions you make in your lifting. And if they do that, then that's something between them and themselves. Look in the mirror. But like, I think about this on food. Nobody has the right to say like, you shouldn't eat that shit. No, don't tell me what to eat. Like if I want to eat a peanut butter and jelly sandwich donut, I'm going to eat a peanut butter jelly donut. That was an awesome post, by the way.
Yeah.
But like we are the masters of our own domains. So let's remember that when we're out there judging people for what they're doing. And I'm very guilty of judging certain people for what they do. And I'll be the first one to recognize it. I'll look in the mirror and I'll recognize that and I'll call myself out, and that's cool.
So I got a I'm not challenging you, but I have a mindset challenge to get your opinion on.
Yes.
I've heard a lot of people say like weightlifting is so hard. Weightlifting is tough. You have to be like a warrior to do weightlifting. It's so hard to do. You just got to drag yourself to the gym. In my opinion, weightlifting is one of the easiest things I've ever done in my life.
I like it.
But sticking to that commitment, going to the gym 4 to 5 days a week, going to the gym when you're not feeling great, getting that session in when you went to your kid's recital.
Yeah.
The commitment is the hard part.
Yeah.
Weightlifting is easy. Weightlifting is fun. Weightlifting is it. Like I will admit, like I think I'm genetically kind of made for it a little bit. I got into it a little bit later than I realistically probably should have, but I've made numbers and I've won competitions that most people can't do. Most people at a much younger body age can't do. Weightlifting for me has always been extremely easy, but it's the commitment of doing more than just weightlift, doing the accessories. That's hard.
Yeah.
And that's not even heavy most of the time. Being consistent with it, not getting frustrated and then just quitting and retiring and going to another sport and then coming back for whatever reason. I've seen that happen so many times. And I'm also someone who I will never say comeback PR.
Yeah.
I think that your PRs are your PRs. You can say, I haven't hit this in years.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. But how many every day you start lifting, you haven't lifted that weight at this age. So every single increase in weight is a comeback PR. And I just think that that's like the stupidest thing. If like, I wouldn't even give it to someone who's like out of the game for 5 years or something.
Yeah.
I just feel like this is the most I've hit since I've come back.
Yeah.
But I would honestly just say like, it's not a PR. This is my PR. This is my real number.
Yeah. You know how I feel about the PR conversation. Like, and I don't know if you and I have the same mindset on this, but I think there's only technically 2 PRs you should ever really worry about, and that's your snatch and your clean and jerk. When people talk about
total too.
Yes, total. Yes. Total as well. So 3. But like, I'm not worried about my double hang clean PR. I'm not worried about, how many times, like my jerk from the blocks PR. I know those numbers. Don't get me wrong. Those numbers are good for percentages in your training, but I'm not like, this is a PR.
Yeah.
No, it's an accessory lift. And so why are we worrying about a PR on an accessory lift? We PR in snatch and clean and jerk, which creates a PR in our total. So like that, and that's just my opinion. I don't know if you have a different opinion on that, but
no, I 100% love that. I just hit a 185 kilo jerk the other day.
Okay.
And someone else was like, "Oh, is that a PR?" I'm like, "Well, I've never hit it before." So, I mean, technically, yes, it's a personal record, but it's also, it's not a competition lift. It's not
right.
I don't need that dopamine hit to tell myself I'm doing a good job. Like, I know if I'm doing a good job, I know if I'm being consistent, I know if I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I also know if I'm slacking off, and I know that if I didn't sleep well and didn't eat well, and I know generally if I have a bad day, why I had a bad day. And like, I see so many people who are, oh, this is a PR from the hang above the knee. This is a PR from a hang below the knee. This is a PR for a 2-second pause hang at the knee. It's like, those aren't those aren't real. Those are just maybe you haven't hit something heavier than that before, but that's not a real PR.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Yeah, it's always funny when I hear it, and I'm just like, and I've had coaches be like, "Oh, what's your PR in the low hang clean?" And I'm like, I don't know. I know that this is what I hit on this day, and I think that's the most I've hit. So we'll call it that.
Yeah.
I'm not like, there was at one point, I'd probably say within the first year, I was like writing everything down. And I have that book still, and I see but those numbers are far from what I'm hitting now, which is good progression. Yeah. But so I don't really reference that anymore. But like, I just the idea of, I would say maybe the variable is like a back squat, because we all like to talk about our back squat and all that. But even then, like, I know that the heaviest back squat I hit is not a PR for me. Because I have yet to ever just do back squat and lift to the heaviest I possibly can in a back squat only. Never done it. And I don't know if you need to. Personally, I know you need to lift heavy in the back squat, but do you need to, and I know you need to keep moving up, but do you need to have a PR or a number that you can hit? I don't know. I just, PR to me means personal record, and I lifted the best I could lift in that day. We do most of the time. We do squats at the end of our session. We're already pretty beat up.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot of this mindset of the every kid gets an award mindset, kind of trickling over, and we're getting a lot of those kids who are now like adults. And they want to feel good. They want the dopamine hit. They want to look like they want to feel like they did something impressive, when I'm not saying it's not impressive, but again, nobody cares. Like, you're the only one who cares. I have pushed myself to that level where it took me almost 2 weeks to recover from that heaviest squat that I've ever done.
Yeah.
I'm a much better weightlifter now with a much less back squat.
Yeah.
I've probably increased my snatch 7 or 8 kilos.
Yeah.
I've increased my clean and jerk 10. And my squats are much lower now than they were 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
well, and that's an interesting thought, and we can save this conversation for next time. But like, I've contemplated this over the past probably 2 weeks when I'm doing squats, because I'm like, we know why we do squats. We want to build our legs up. We want to build our back up. Those are the two big things that, squats are going to do. and do, an experienced veteran weightlifter that's been doing it, let's say for 11 years, at that 10th year, do they need to keep on with the volume and the heavy and going as strong as possible on that back squat, or do they just need to maintain?
I've talked to a handful of people and with this question.
Yeah.
And Rob Blackwell told me at AO2 last year that he squats like he almost doesn't squat. Like every couple of weeks he'll put on like 405 and hit it for 5.
Yeah.
That's cool. He said that he's never had really strong legs, which it's funny when people say that, because I've said the same thing, that I had to work. It didn't come naturally for me to squat heavy.
Right.
And I always looked at the people who were hitting the numbers I was hitting and then compared their squat numbers to my numbers. I'm like, I don't have that strong of a squat compared to some of these people.
Yeah.
And he said that he does lots of machines at 24-hour fitness, and the goal is to maintain it as long as he needs to, but the goal is not to have a big squat.
Yeah. So. Yep. I'm with you on that. And I think that a lot of people probably could hear that and probably could learn something. Anyways, we're 46 minutes in. It's a school night. I got to get kids to bed, but Cornell, listen, big thank you for opening up and talking about the things that are close to you. Pretty awesome. I love it. I love everything about it. I'm honored that you did it on this platform, and all and forever and always. Love you, buddy. So, everybody, thank you for listening. Go check our Instagrams out. Go, do whatever, talk shit about us. I don't care, whatever. We don't listen to other podcasts anyways. So, everybody have a good night. Cornell, talk to you later.
Bye.
Adios.